This is a Wild Age Production podcast.
Roll them bones.
I know you came here to be what you want in the game of D&D. Assassin, halfling, human, or rogue. Just gotta pick up all those dice and let's roll. We're rolling now for real. We're rolling now for real.
Welcome to Save or Die Expert Edition, the first and original classic D&D podcast. Hello folks, Save or Die number 136, the Bluehome edition. I'm DM Glen. DM James couldn't make it with us tonight. He had a home emergency. Not really big, just sick kid, you know. And I'm also with TM Erik Tinkar.
Hey folks, how are you?
Sexy voice and all.
Oh well, I for you, Finn. Come on, Glenn. I got to do the sexy.
Yeah, well, you give James a break. Come on.
Jeez.
I don't even want to think about it. And we have DM Michael Thomas.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning here and good evening there.
Oh, good morning here and good evening there too. I know it sounds funny me running this show, but there it is. So.
Not at all. You have experience at this. Thank God it's not me running the show.
Oh,
that's all I'll say.
Oh, that Mike would say that all the time, and he ran the show fine.
But I know my limitations.
He thought he did too.
Oh, all right.
Just try to, anybody can host a show.
I'll tell Rachel that so she can hop in one day.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll start up the Rachel and Liz show.
You never know.
That might be a study in silence.
Oh God.
So what you been up to, Michael?
Well, I guess you all know the Kickstarter for Bluehome Journeymanne finished
Yes.
a week ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much I've been fairly busy with that. I'm writing up the final art briefs, waiting for the money to get cleared from Kickstarter.
Okay.
And then the artists are going to be beavering away for the next couple of months.
Right on. I do want to, I'm probably talking to the wrong person, but I never did thank you for the help with Mazes and Perils.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's kind of what got me started on this whole gig, really.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but it was appreciated.
Back in 2012.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should use that in the ads for Bluehome. By the Emmy-winning Michael Thomas.
That'll be a while. Yeah.
You never know.
Well, I guess we kind of did win, didn't we? Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that was Mazes and Perils won. Which year was that? 2015.
Yeah, I think so.
Silver Emmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
I
free.
mean, how it all started was back in 2012. I was just roaming through the forums and I came across Vince's Mazes and Perils, and that was kind of in the early release stage. And I offered to edit the text for him, and away we went.
Oh.
So it's Vince's book, my editing. Some guy called Glen did some art.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody who can't draw. But
was cool.
away it took. In case anybody out there doesn't know about Bluehome is a based on the Holmes version of D&D, which was
That's right.
released. I have no idea. I'm bad with dates. Sometime.
The Holmes version?
Yeah.
1977.
77. Wow. I was going to peg it like 80, but then again, like I said, I'm terrible with dates. 1977 version, and he has expanded it out from there.
Yes. I mean, the original Bluehome was after a lot of thinking about what to call these things, it was called the Prentice edition, the Prentice Rules,
Right.
which is pretty much a straight clone of Holmes, down to covering only levels 1 to 3. Because that was kind of my first serious venture into this indie publishing. So I wanted to keep it in a controllable package. So this current version is called the Journeyman Rules. So you can see there's a theme going on there. And the Journeyman Rules, actually, it's a complete game. So it covers levels 1 to 20.
Ooh, nice.
You don't need the Prentice Rules if you've got the Journeyman Rules. Yeah.
Just like AD&D. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Pretty much.
Uh,
Well, except it's like in one book of about less than 120 pages, so not quite like AD&D.
Yeah, I was an early backer of the Kickstarter. I was really excited to see it because I
Erik was
enjoy.
in there.
Yeah, I was pretty quick, but I enjoyed the Prentice Rules, because I started with AD&D, so for me going back to the basic rules.
Me too.
For me, God forbid, when I was a teenager, I was like, "Oh, these rules are stupid. These are for kids. I'm 15. I'm an adult. I would never play basic D&D."
I never said that because I barely had any exposure to basic D&D. All my friends did was shove the AD&D books in my face all the time. So when I came back, I was like, "Wow, this is like a breath of fresh air."
Oh, I was, I could find the basic stuff by me, and it was kind of. But as an adult, again, somebody who came back to the hobby as an adult, I found a new appreciation not just for the originals, but for a lot of the clones. And the Prentice Rules do an amazing job of representing the Holmes rules to modern sensibilities. I hate that word in a way, but. What was acceptable back in '77 to present to you as a set of anything is not the same thing 40 years later. You expect something different from it, but to be able to keep the soul of the original and give it a new presentation, you did great. Simply,
I'm blushing.
Awesome.
You can't see that, right? You can cut that part out, right?
Yeah.
That's a podcast, not a vidcast, so you're okay.
Oh, I can make it a vidcast if you.
No. Old man Grognard, that's your shtick.
Oh, you're right. And I'm dying to get a hold of the book so I can do a review of it too, because it looks just gorgeous. I got when I backed it, I got the PDF of the original manuscript, and I just thumbed through it, and it's like, this is really cool. This is
almost art-free.
Almost art-free. And
there's a couple of pieces in there by a guy called Holmes.
Ah, yes. Yes, but there's nothing about that guy named Hallstrom for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. And I also thought, this is going to give Swords and Wizardry a run for their money.
Oh, it certainly could. And I'm a huge Swords and Wizardry fan. I wrote the light rules, breaking down to 4 pages levels 1 to 3. But you make a lot of sacrifices doing that. But yeah, I mean, I personally think Swords and Wizardry is going to have a good year this year. But I think what Mike has done here, when this is released and people can start getting their print-on-demand versions of the full rules.
Oh yeah.
I think you're going to have a winner. I mean, have no fear. I will certainly be going to the hilltop and spreading the word because it's a beautiful thing.
I refresh my memory again. The POD is just that. I mean, what I'm saying is, did I pay for the POD in my pledge, or did I pay for a certificate of a P? I don't remember. It doesn't.
What I believe what the Bluehome Kickstarter did, and allowed them to do is that you're paying for the PDF, and your pledge includes getting the POD at cost. Which I'll be honest with you, somebody who critiques Kickstarters, I think it's the best way to do it, both as a creator and as a patron or a supporter. I really, because that allows you to keep costs down and and anybody who has to ship from their own home, God bless you. But
Yeah.
having one bookshelf take care of that on their end is really the way to go. It really simplifies
Well,
things
actually,
logistics
I've
wise.
got to make a slight correction there.
Okay.
You are actually paying for the book.
Oh.
You're not paying for the postage. That's the only
okay.
thing that's not included.
Well,
All right, my
I
bad.
think,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's. I don't have a problem with that. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
since
Okay,
I've been
what are you?
corrected.
You are Glenn. You're a lord, I guess. Unless you can go in under
Yeah,
lady as well.
I'm a lord. Lord's good enough for me.
Okay. Which means, you are.
A lord's good enough for me. The peasants can eat what they want. You know.
Yep. Which means, once the POD goes live, you'll be getting one through your mail.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's like all these lately, all the Kickstarters I backed over the last few months is why are they all delivering at the end of the year? They're all like, I backed that. I'm backing Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. I think I've got 2 more, and it's all like August, September, October, November. It's like, guys, the cons were earlier.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I'm on the back end of that. Yeah.
But
No,
that's
I mean, I've learned through experience that no matter how many people look at these things and how often you go through them, there is going to be errata.
yes.
And I'd rather not have people with physical books in their hands with a typo in the first paragraph. Interesting
said.
that happened.
But I'm used to that. I used to play Champions. Hero Games was notorious for their typos. But no, seriously, it's a beautiful book, and I can't wait to get a hold of it. You guys who didn't do the Kickstarter, I am so disappointed in you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people did. So
Yes. So tell me, how did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I mean, fine. Go ahead.
No, I just want to know how. So how did you expand on this? Taking.
Okay. Well, it's kind of an interesting story because I did, well, the beginnings of Bluehome really was, the first thing that got me into Holmes was I wanted to do an errata document for Holmes.
Ah, okay.
And, well, as you know, I mean, Holmes did a great job in codifying original D&D to some extent. But then by later standards, it's still kind of a confusing book. There's no chapter headings. Stuff is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
There's a few mistakes that crept in during the editing. So I started off by basically writing an errata document. And I thought, actually, why not just reorganize the whole thing? And then I thought, well, okay, I can reorganize it and so on, but then that's going to run into copyright issues and so on. So I thought, why don't I do an OGL version, basically, of Holmes? And that's what Bluehome Prentice turned out to be.
Yes, and it's so you've expanded like the classes and the spells and the.
Well, Journeyman doesn't expand the classes. Originally, I have been working on expanding the classes, but that turned out to be such a big project that I just thought, okay, 2017, I have to get this out. So the subclasses will be out later, independently. There'll be the Maester classes. See, there's a thing there: Prentice, Journeyman, Maester.
I love it.
Now is this going to be a separate supplement for it, or?
They'll probably just come out as I do them because I want to keep it to manageable bites. But basically, how Journeyman got expanded was really I really got into reading Dr. Holmes's other writing. So he did a couple of books. He wrote a lot of fiction based on some of the games he ran, and there's a lot of his bibliography is on Zach Howard's excellent Xenopus site, which is really the go-to place for anything you want to know about Holmes. So I found out that Holmes really was its own thing. It was written as an introduction to OD&D, but it was written at a time when TSR were writing AD&D. Right. So it kind of got mangled a little bit, some would say. I think it actually kind of added a little bit of interest to it, that it is really unique. I mean, there's a lot of things in Holmes that do not appear in other versions of D&D.
Oh, yeah. He has his own flavor.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious one is the 5-way alignment, which, I mean, it did appear in Strategic Review, didn't make it into any of the other D&D versions, except what Zach and I like to call the Holmes supplement monster manual, because the monster manual really has 5 alignments.
Really? I have to go back and look
also,
at that.
Yeah, it also has the armor class system of Holmes, so it doesn't start with AC 10 like AD&D. It actually starts with AC 9. So it's actually can be used as is with Holmes, which is quite interesting.
I think the AC9 carried over to the other versions of Basic too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, but you know, a lot of the that kind of became the core of the idea of the Journeyman Rules was to really try and pull out that Holmesianness out of the D&D. So I drew a lot on what Holmes wrote. For example, all the additional monsters in Journeyman are all mentioned at some point by Holmes in various things that he's written. My favorite edition is the Drenoi. The Drenoi are a reptilian race, and they actually come from a science fiction back from the 70s called Stargard, which you can still get today.
Really?
And Drenoi was the highest level character that Holmes ever managed to play, which reached the lofty heights of 4th level.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually what I did was I found out that Stargard was still a going thing. I contacted John McEwen, who's the author. I said to him, hey, do you mind if I use these Drenoi in my game? And he said, yeah, sure, why not? So they're in there.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. And you've got like, what? You put like over 200 spells in there?
Yeah. I mean, the spells, a lot of them are extrapolated from the OD&D books.
Okay.
I know that Holmes himself referred to Swords and Spells also, which was kind of the last OD&D supplement. Well, it's not really OD&D supplement, but you know, it's kind of out there on its own. But Swords and Spells was interesting because it was the first time that a lot of the what you might call missing information about spells actually appeared. Things like area of effect. Like a lot of people will be surprised that the area of effect of sleep in OD&D is actually 10 square feet.
Wow.
Which you know, a lot of people think, okay, sleep in OD&D is a killer spell. There's no saving throw. You know, and there's nothing in the original descriptions that says how far away people have to be and so on.
Okay.
But actually, if you have that, then okay, it's limited. It's a 1st level spell.
I got a question. Magic missile. Does yours always hit?
Hell no.
All right, that's it. I'm getting my money back.
Yep. Yeah. DM Jim back in podcast 117 when they looked at the Prentice Rules, he picked that one out, of course. Yeah, I mean that's one of the differences. I see where everyone is coming from, but you know I've thought long and hard about it, but I had to remain true to Holmes and keep the to hit on there.
Well, I could always change that.
Well, but the thing is, it's against AC9 with a +5 bonus to hit, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the Prentice Rules, and that's still, you're going to still hit probably 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from the 1st to 3rd level kind of characters, they all have the same to hit rolls, so it's not a penalty yet. It
Right.
does get to be a problem at higher levels, but then at higher levels, you should be casting fireballs and lightning bolts. You shouldn't be relying on your magic missiles so much. So
That's true, but try and tell that to the neophytes.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you have to? I assume it's to hit for every missile.
It's left ambiguous in the same way that a lot of the old rules were.
Right.
You'll find that I had to try very hard not to clarify stuff that didn't have any information for me. So I didn't want to basically house rule things.
Yeah, you get the more wiggle room you get then.
Yeah, yeah. Because at its core, Prentice was really there to emulate Holmes. Because Holmes is still not available. It's like the one PDF that the Wizards haven't released yet. Although I've mounted an email campaign to try and get them to release it.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm sure eventually they'll get around to it when they figure it out. But enough people want to see it. But
yes.
I guess they've got a hell of a lot of PDFs to go through before they get to Holmes, I guess.
I tend to look at old bookstores and half-price books and stuff, and I was surprised 3 or 4 years ago how often Holmes would turn up.
Really?
Yeah. But nowadays, no.
Yeah. No, I mean I've got a couple of copies, but basically I don't like to open them because they're getting a bit brittle and weak and so on.
Understood.
So I scanned one and printed it out at in my office printer. So my reference copy is basically a home printed version.
Yeah, those books take a lot of beating.
Well, yeah.
Tell you, I swear to God. Well, that's just great. So we got the Kickstarter done, and you're just waiting now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm waiting, and a lot of artists are waiting. I think I've got about. I somehow ended up with about 15 guys working on this.
Wow.
Because I sent out a lot of invites to various OSR artists and some other artists and so on. And I got back a lot more people interested than I expected. So I kind of ended up saying yes to most of them.
Is one of them Corey Gelnet?
I don't think
no.
so.
That sounds just like something he'd get involved in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've got people in here like Luigi Castellani.
Oh, he's good.
He does really good stuff.
He does the small niche game stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Todd McGowan.
Another good one.
Bradley K. McDevitt, you might have heard of.
Yes.
And who's this guy? Russ Nicholson.
He does some sharp stuff. Dell, who I've actually finally met.
Dell.
Dell's done work for me. Yeah. He has come so far over the last year and a half, 2 years. I mean, he was doing really good stuff when I asked him to do some art for me for my Facebook community. And here we are a year and a half later, and I saw his stuff at GaryCon, and I was blown away at what he's doing now. If he was a 9.5 before, he's it's like Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11. He's at 11. He's really good. I see Dennis McCarthy's on the list. He's done stuff for me too. Really good people.
Oh yeah. It sounds like you got a stellar lineup there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it, like Erik says, actually, interesting because a lot of these people I contacted way back when I first started on this, and I'm kind of glad I did because I think because a few of them I got on board back then, I thought maybe by now they wouldn't be interested because they're so good now.
Artists always like to draw, especially if you wave money in front of their face.
Oh yeah.
It's an impressive list of artists that you have. Listen, I have no artistic ability whatsoever, but I really do appreciate good art, probably because I can't do it. And the names you have are awesome. So.
Yeah. I mean, the one name unfortunately missing off the list is John Francis Beaulieu, who did the. I've totally mispronouncing that name. He's Canadian. Who did the cover?
He did the
cover art. Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, the cover is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I had him originally lined up for doing some interiors, but in the intervening years, he has gotten far too busy. So he was unavailable, unfortunately.
Understood.
Yeah.
Absolutely understood. So after all this is done, after all the fulfillment has been fulfilled and all this other stuff, where will this will be available in the usual channels, drive-through or?
Yep. It's on one bookshelf, so drive-through and RPG now.
So Lulu
the POD I may investigate the drive-through POD, but they're definitely sticking with Lulu for the initial fulfillment.
Oh yeah.
So the backers will be getting Lulu because I know the quality that Lulu can do, whereas one bookshelf is still a little bit of unknown.
Well, from what I've gotten so far from them, it's been pretty nice, but it's mostly like digest-sized stuff. So.
I'm guilty of getting stuff from Lulu and One Bookshelf and hardcovers, and they're both. I believe that One Bookshelf also has like for like the color for. I know at least for color they have standard and a higher end color.
Yeah, yeah. I got both Petty Gods and what's that other a geriatric tome from Lulu. And they're absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
and Lulu to me is kind of dicey.
What I've noticed is that with One Bookshelf, there are black and white products that print at the level of the high-end color because they like the thicker paper.
Yes, that's one thing you got to go for is the thicker paper. I do like that thicker paper. But I think both of them do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I think I ordered one item from Lulu that was just like, seriously? Well, this is the PDF we had to work with. He sent you another PDF. Oh, sorry. Okay, whatever. But that's one out of like 5 or 6 that I've ordered from them. Yeah. So I think they're.
They've really improved a lot in the last
10
years or so,
Yeah.
I remember when POD started, that it was kind of 50-50 whether you could actually use the book. But I have a hardback in front of me here.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if you can hear that. Which is my first test print of the... It doesn't have much art in it yet. But it looks pretty good. Colors, the black and white is pretty sharp.
Now you got me drooling.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much through the pages, so it's looking pretty good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, so you're going to do that, and you mentioned the master classes you're going to put. So what happens after this book? What do you got going in the future?
Okay.
Anything?
Well, there's a few. We hit a few stretch goals.
Right.
So there's the referee repository, which is a set of what you might call ready ref sheets for the DM.
That is a good idea. That is a really good idea.
There's the Explorer's Encounters, which is basically all a bunch of tables on different types of encounters, different tricks and traps, that kind of thing. It's kind of it's a little bit of a play on the old Monsters and Treasures, but it's a little bit trying to show more how you can individualize encounters rather than them just basically being a table taken out of the book.
That's good. That's good.
And the final stretch goal is the Bluehome brochure. I don't know if you guys hang out on any of the OSR forums, but the known world of Bluehome is something that is never going to make it into kind of gazetteer status, because I don't really like gazetteers. I like more bottom-up world building.
Right.
So I have what I call a visual notebook, which is kind of a map based on the old outdoor survival map. And I kind of use that to relate locations within all the various adventures I've got ready to roll. There's one adventure out for Bluehome, which you might know is the Necropolis of Neuroman.
Yeah, I heard of that. I've got to get a hold of that.
And Bluehome is actually a city in the known world of Bluehome.
Okay.
So the Bluehome brochure is kind of a little city guide. It's not a big book. It's basically a map. It's descriptions of areas, encounter tables, that kind of thing.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's
Love that.
kind of a little adventure base, really.
So you got any people who want to write like modules for this, or?
I've actually got a bunch of manuscripts waiting for me to get around to editing.
Hey.
The Necropolis of Neuroman is the first of 3.
Okay.
And that was written by someone for Holmes, actually, originally. And I converted it to Bluehome. So those are ready to roll. The second and third part are probably going to be the first adventures that will come out.
Okay.
So that'll be a trilogy.
Okay.
Oh, no, tell a lie. There's another adventure that comes before that, because I decided I needed a bit more of an introductory module that really works with the Bluehome rules. Kind of the B1 version, to get both referees and players used to the Bluehome rules.
Right.
Nice.
So that'll be the first one out. Then parts 2 and 3 of the Forbidden Mazes of the Generac, which is the overall title for which Neuroman is the first book of. If anybody wants to rewatch Mazes and Monsters, you'll know where that title comes from.
Oh wow!
There's a chap which some of you may have heard of called R.C. Pinnell.
Yeah.
Also known as Thorkhammer.
Thorky.
Yeah.
I know Thorky well.
And I've bought the rights to a bunch of his modules.
Really?
Oh really?
So I'm slowly working my way through those and converting those over to Bluehome.
I did a little artwork for him. Cool.
Well, that's exciting news, because he does some really good stuff.
He does.
Yeah. I mean, he unfortunately had one of these electronic disasters last year, where he lost a lot of his original files.
Oh man.
So he doesn't have most of the originals for this. So I kind of gathered luckily I had most of his
stuff
as they came out, but I've gathered a few more. So I've started with one chunk of maybe half a dozen of those. So I think I've got enough adventures to last me for quite a while.
Yeah, you're going to be sitting there a while if you pull out his continuation of the Giants series.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God, that's good.
Is it? I've
Yeah.
got it. I've
yeah.
got it sitting here. I haven't really looked at it yet. I got too much stuff to look at. So yeah, the Necropolis of, was it Numenon?
Neuroman.
Thank you. Now that's out, right?
Yeah.
Where can I find
in
that?
PDF.
On PDF?
It's on DriveThru.
Okay.
When I do get a moment, I'm going to POD that, because it's been out for a while now, and I haven't had back any more errata for a couple of years now, and I've been meaning to POD it for a while.
Should I wait to?
And the PDF is pay what you want, so
right.
Oh, then there's no reason to wait then.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've hit my intrigue button. I am intrigued.
Yeah.
Any title with the word Necropolis in it's got my attention.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I'm really.
So I mean, adventure-wise, there's quite a lot going on the Maester classes, which I mentioned earlier. I mean, the reason originally there was a lot of me talking about doing a version of Bluehome Prentice called the Complete Rules.
Right.
But it really, I found this, the more I looked into the subclasses, the more of a project that turned out to be. So I really thought I need to get the actual 1 to 20 rules out first, and then I can add these guys in as and when needed.
Hear that? Hear that, Eric? Gnomes are coming.
Dude,
Yeah.
I got to add them to Swords and Wizardry myself, so I like gnomes. Just gonna make them not feel like they're garden gnomes or half dwarves. No, I'm going to, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, Journeyman has gnomes, and I remember one of the differences between Holmes and Moldvay is that Holmes is only class by race, in sort of class. Default way. Yeah, but it's not really. They're kind of separated. It's just that in Holmes, if you're an elf, you can only play a fighter magic user. If you're a dwarf or a halfling, you can only play a fighter. But it does actually say that, if you play advanced D&D, you can do this and that. So Holmes actually, in principle, separates race and class. So that's what Bluehome does.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that I did in Journeyman is to play on something that Holmes said, which is basically that you should be able to, if people want to play any race, they can play it. Let them do it. Just work out how they can be reasonably in tune with the other races at the same level, so that you don't have one guy dominating the party. So I added in some rules in Bluehome, which basically means that you can play you can play a cleric, a fighter, a magic user, a thief, but you can play any race that you want.
Good.
As long as your referee says so. I did have a little trouble during the playtest with Medusas.
We're getting into Tunnels and Trolls territory here.
The Black Dragon was fine. Yeah.
Well, if your players aren't pushing the envelope, especially when you tell them to, then they're not good players. They should always be pushing it. That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
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 Medusa.
Well, and the other thing I did was that because that in OD&D the whole business of elves and playing fighters and magic users at the same time was a bit vague, and nobody really knows how it was done. Like, do you play a magic user this week? Next week you play a fighter. You have to separate your XP and so on. So I kind of took what was written and basically worked out a way just to you could do combination classes. So you can have a fighter magic user. That's a separate class. You can have a cleric thief. That would be a separate class. You can have a cleric fighter thief magic user if you wanted to. It's just a way of combining the classes. So it's not a big rule. It's quite a small section in there, but it's a fairly easy way to have very, very different classes and characters given the 4 basic classes and all the creatures in the creatures chapter.
That's what the beauty about clones is, the fact that they just take the old rules and kind of loosen them up.
Yeah.
And let you do more of what you want to do, and at the same time don't bog down with the rules.
Yeah, that's what I love about them.
Yeah. Anyway, you've got a bang up game here, and my God, come to North Texas next year. I want to get an autograph.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've run out of. I used to have a stack of the Prentice Rules, which I'd autographed and send out to people, but I've run out of those now.
Well, that's okay.
So you can still get them on POD, but there's no signature on those, I'm afraid.
Well, that's okay. But hey, think about North Texas next year. Yeah.
I think about North Texas all the time.
2018.
It's just a long way from me.
2018. Well, if we can get 2 people from Ireland.
I think Hong Kong's just a wee bit further.
Yeah, I think I'm like pretty much exactly on the other side of the globe.
You're probably right. Well, the idiot host screws it up again. Okay. Bluehome, sorry you missed the Kickstarter, folks, but you will be hearing a lot about this in the coming weeks and months. And
I certainly hope so.
Michael, my God, thank you. Thank you very much for being on our show. And Erik, did you?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna just say I'm right now. I'm looking at the PDF of the Necropolis of Norman, and you get yourself 22 pages, three levels of a dungeon, an outdoor map. You've got, by the way, and you have the city of Blueholme on it, which I like. And it's pay what you want, so grab it now.
I'm going to be using up some toner tonight.
Well, the maps are light on toner, so you should be okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. But anyway, thank you, Michael. I appreciate you being here. Erik, did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
No, I think that. Listen, I wanted to make sure people grab the pay what you want that's out there, and of course, the Prentice Rules are also out there for you to grab.
That's right. I forgot about those. I forgot.
So if you're on the fence later on about whether or not to go full journeyman or not, grab the Prentice Rules. They are very well done.
Now I know they're PDF. Are they POD also?
Yep, you can get the Prentice Rules in POD on Lulu.
Okay. And so grab the PDF, try the PDF out first, and you'll probably really like it. And if you like
the Lulu's not too expensive. It's pretty much at cost. So.
Okay. Well, grab the print while you're at it. I usually try and grab both of them. That's why I like.
Prentice is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, that's why I like open bookcases for printing. It's because it's like I'll go to Lulu and see, okay, I can print it, but hey, give me a bundle. Hey guys, give me a bundle over here. Come on, please. But try it out. Prentice Rules, the Necropolis, and we're going to have some more good. He's going to have a lot more good stuff coming out. God, I love being a gamer at this time.
It is a beautiful time.
Yeah. Beautiful time to be a gamer, no matter what you young people think. Anyway, I guess it's our time to wrap this one up. Erik, would you like to say goodbye?
Okay. Goodbye, folks.
Well, that was easy.
It wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Michael, would you like to say
goodbye, folks?
Okay, and once again, that's Michael Thomas, Bluehome, Prentice and Journeyman Rules. Look for them. They're out there. And as for me, DM Glen, good night, folks.